So for our final major project, we decided to make a music album video for the artist How to Dress Well.
The story is the couple at the start. You see a girl that's obviously dead, and her partner is grieving over her, and in reverse you slowly realise that it's because she's overdosed on heroin, and as time goes on in the story, as it's in reverse, it gets to the point before they've done heroin, it shows them as a happy couple. The idea behind it was we watched Irreversible, and it shows the story in reverse, and at the end they're happy. It really packs a punch because at the start they're not. Something terrible's happened, and when you see them happy, and then you realise that basically she's already dead. So we thought it was a really good impact, and that's where we brought it into our own project.
We also got another idea from film Candy, which is also about a couple that do heroin, and that just really inspired us. We basically put two and together and created our own thing.
Yeah, I mean, Candy was, we sort of put it on as a sort of, we'll just whack this film on, and it really struck us hard, and we never really thought about doing anything about heroin, as it's quite a
touchy
subject that I'm sure a lot of people sort of thought, why are they doing heroin? But we really wanted to make something that just hit hard. Like, we wanted to impress people to think, they've thought outside the box, they've done something that's hard hitting, and not just a corny comedy teenager sort of video. So yeah. We did run into quite a few problems to start with before we even started filming, really, didn't we? We couldn't really find actors.
Yeah, we had a lot of trouble getting actors because we didn't want to use anyone our age. We wanted to use people that were older looking, and it's really hard to find older actors.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many people that are over sort of 20 that want to do it for free. Everyone sort of wants to do it for a favour or money.
Yeah, we also needed actors that looked a certain way. Obviously, if it's about heroin, they all need to be quite skinny and gaunt looking and pale, and that was kind of hard to come across, especially for like the male role. Lisby was looking for a specific type of person.
Yeah. But finally, we went on Casting Call Pro, and we found a couple of actors. Well, we found one, and then she recommended someone else. They were really nice people. To be fair, that they wouldn't have been able to do it without them. They did really well, but unfortunately, we did have to pay them for their time. So we had to pay them for one day, and that's all we could really afford. So we had to cram all of our projects into one day of filming. So we did a lot of planning. Like, we planned it all out to film it all, but with that we found out that we couldn't film two of the scenes that we wanted to.
Yeah, and a lot of the scenes that we did do, after like watching them back, we always just noticed little things that we wish we could have changed. But obviously, because we could only do one day of filming, we couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the aerial scenes inside the shed, like watching them back over and over, I feel like they could have been framed better, and some of them weren't in focus. They're just minor things, but it's something that we would like to go back and change.
Yeah. We thought that we pulled off overall on the filming, the day of filming, we pulled it off. But there's just the little things that we could have perfected it. It's the sort of thing that if we had an extra day of filming, we could have just gone, right, we'll redo this scene, we'll redo that, we'll do the other two scenes, and I think our project would have been absolutely perfect. But
yeah, if we could have included the other scenes, I would have been a lot happier.
Yeah.
Having a lot more, but obviously some things don't work out the way you want them to. Before we started filming, during our planning, there was a couple of challenging shots that we decided that we wanted to do, and our main one was the bike ride scene, and I'll let Tom explain this one.
Well, basically, like Ray said before, we're both we wanted to work on the visuals, that's why we went for a music video. And the bike ride scene, basically, the camera's permanently following them, it's always tracking, there's no still shots. And to think, if you think now, you can't just run alongside someone on a bike, you're never going to keep up with them. And I asked quite a few people, could they work it out, did they understand what I did, and they sort of said, well, I didn't even think about it, we pulled it off so well that people didn't go, oh, that's done like that. It just felt natural. Basically, we got my uncle who has a truck we filmed outside the back of it, so I was hanging out filming them going along. And then we also had me on a longboard, which was sort of tracking them with a Smooth camera. So I thought it was pretty creative from our part.
So within our planning, we had to make our own soundtrack for our music video. So we had to go through How to Wrestle's album and listen to the various songs and decide which ones would fit, which scenes, and etc.
And before even that, we had to think about who we were going to pick, really, didn't we?
Yeah.
We didn't just go, oh, we're going to make an album video for How to Dress Well. We knew sort of what we wanted to make, and we went for lots and lots of albums, but How to Dress Well sort of stuck out
mainly because of the bit where he's speaking, they're speaking in one of his songs, talking about flying.
And then the coming down at the end of the video, it says about you've got to come down to the earth.
The only bad part about flying is having to come back down to the fucking world.
That was like the main kick-off point for us.
And then as we listened throughout the album, it just captured what we visually sort of wanted. Then I went on to made the soundtrack, and then when we videoed it and put it into post-production, it half met the soundtrack that I created, but I still had to make changes because obviously the 2 scenes that we hadn't filmed, the 2 songs that we put in had to be taken out. But it all pretty much went to plan, really, didn't it, with the soundtrack was?
Yeah. So yeah, for basically next time, if we was going to make a music video again, something like this, then we'd obviously have to think a lot more in detail about the stuff that we didn't think about the first time. Actors, definitely.
Yeah, I think our biggest restraint was money, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if we wanted to, we could have spent a couple of £100 on it, but it wasn't really anything that we could afford at this sort of time. If we had the money, we could have made this sort of a lot better.
We could have made it way better if we had the money.
Yeah, I think money was our big sort of constraint. Equipment wise, I think we got the best out of what we could do. Once again, if we had better equipment, everything would have visually looked a lot nicer, but I really do believe that we did a pretty good job.
Yep.
I think all we needed was more time and more money, and we could have made a better project. So that's about it, really. I hope everyone enjoyed our video, and yeah, adios.